are back inside City Hall talking with our Friday Reporters Roundtable. Tom Robbins, Errol Louis, Bob Hardt, and Ken Lovett. And we can tell you that we talked about this a second ago as far as Sarah Palin. She did an interview this week with Katie Couric. Now, Ken, I'm going to start with you up in Albany. Palin was asked to give specifics about John McCain pushing for tighter, stricter, if you will, regulation of Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae. I'm not going to make any observation here. We will let you, the audience, watch this, as I'm sure you have for the last day, and make your own conclusion. Let's take a look at Palin's reaction, her response.
He's also known as the Maverick, though, taking shots from his own party and certainly taking shots from the other party, trying to get people to understand what he's been talking about, the need to reform government.
I'm just going to ask you one more time, not to belabor the point, specific examples in his 26 years of pushing for more regulation.
I'll try to find you some and I'll bring them to you.
Okay, Ken, at one point, Palin was looking for a word, and Couric said, you mean to say mocking? I mean, okay, what do you guys think of this interview? And put this into perspective of the debate with her and Biden next Thursday night.
I think she's very lucky the economy was tanking this week. I mean, it really was everything that if you were opposed to her, or if you were even fearful of her inexperience, it was everything that you feared could happen. It was just like, huh?
Very interesting. Again, I'm not describing this. I will leave it up to you guys. Bob Hardt, what do you think here?
I mean, Ken's right. This was the nightmare interview that they originally were afraid of. And, Charlie Gibson, the interview went relatively, well. She didn't know what the Bush doctrine was, so what? The Fox News interview, not surprisingly, went smoothly. The third time was not a charm. It was the opposite of that. And as Ken pointed out, the only good thing about this that happened was everyone was paying attention to the economy, the summit in Washington, and this upcoming debate. But this has to, like you were asking, this has to really scare them going into the Biden debate next week.
Gentlemen, what's going on here? I'm trying my best not to interfere or describe.
Look, they have a problem. They have a problem. They have a big problem.
A problem?
John McCain threw a Hail Mary pass. She actually caught the ball and ran with it.
It worked.
She did. She has energized the debate. She did that part of what she was supposed to do. She was also supposed to pull some of the independent women, some of the maybe disaffected Hillary Clinton voters, but really the truly undecided, the independents. The polls don't show that happening. They're showing that.
At least not yet.
Not yet. Yeah. Well, but they're also showing a surprising trickle of women who are going to Obama, or whose negative impressions of her are beginning to rise and starting to hit the polling data. So. They clearly have a problem. As far as media management, again, this very tactical group that's very good at trying to play 2 or 3 days, they've got to be very worried about next Thursday. And, the one thing you can say is they have certainly accomplished the goal that usually handlers will try to do, which is to lower expectations about how the candidate will do. I think expectations are now pretty low for Sarah.
It was not a good interview.
Well, at least Thursday night it will be must-see TV again.
Yeah.
That's putting it mildly. Tom, what do you make of this here?
I would just say, just for the sake of the record, that Joe Biden didn't do so great either in terms of a couple of sound bites where he had
very true.
FDR speaking on television and in office at the time of the 1929 stock market crash.
Good point.
And something about not giving up his shotgun and his Beretta. I mean, who knew?
And he also criticized an Obama ad, which is a no-no. You don't criticize your own ads. So Tom's right. Biden's liable to slip up too next Thursday if he gets too confident. And it's kind of what we saw with Al Gore with George Bush in 2000. Everyone thought, oh, he's going to clean Bush's clock, and look what you got. So
he's a guy who's got his mouth works overtime a little too much.
Right.
Let's see if they can slow him down a little bit. If he slows down and he's courteous and he's gentlemanly and he doesn't try to get on his high horse, I think he'll do very well against him.
But here's a question before we move on to Bill Clinton that I have for the four of you. We all know when you do a major television interview, you spend time prepping for that interview. Handlers, well, this is what you'll be asked. Be ready for this. Don't go here. Don't go there. How in the world could she do that interview? And if you get in trouble, repeat the party line and then say, I'm not going to play these got you questions.
Well, look, she's kind of caught. I mean, she's the one who's drawing a lot of the crowds. So McCain is often campaigning with her, and without her, he's not drawing crowds at all, or not nearly as large. She's being hounded by the press. They've been cramming a lot of information. I mean, she came here to New York City to do this kind of speed dating tour through the United Nations and meet a lot of heads of state and try to bulk up on her credentials there. So I can only imagine, plus her family life, which we've often talked about. I mean, she's got a lot of demands on her time, and I don't think you can really go on the road and meet heads of state and start experiencing things that you've never known anything about before and sit down and cram. They might want to take her off the campaign trail, lock her away in a room for a few days, and really do some hard prep in advance of the debate.
I'm going to leave that one alone. Let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about somebody we know very well, Bill Clinton, having some very nice things to say about Mayor Michael Bloomberg. Let's take a look.
Now, I'm not going to say because I'll get in trouble if I say what I'm really thinking, but let me just say this. There is, in my judgment, no job to be done in America in any area of importance to our future that he would probably not do better than just about anybody else I ever met. I think he's great.
Bob Hardt, what's this all about?
He'll get in trouble if he tells us what he really thinks. I read that as an allusion to a third term for Michael Bloomberg. He can't say that because he'll tick off every Democratic Party official in the city. But what else could he be talking about? President? I don't think so.
No, he wants a big donation to the Clinton Global Initiative. Come on, this is about money.
I think it's a little bit. I think
this
it's
is him playing one of these games that he plays. I don't think he's talking about New York City politics.
Well, why didn't
he endorse him for president after what he just said?
Yeah,
right? No job. He couldn't do better.
I think this plays into the whole Bloomberg third term.
It doesn't hurt.
Exactly.
It certainly doesn't hurt.
Well, I think it's both. I think you guys are both right. In exchange for backing the idea of a third term, it would probably make it a little bit easier to ask for some financial support for the Clinton Global Initiative.
Bottom line. Ken, I want to switch gears and come back up to you in Albany. We're hearing of Shelley Silver, the Speaker of the Assembly, talking about bringing up the commuter tax. What's that all about?
Well, some people think it's a way to keep the Senate from going Democrat.
But wait. Now, I'm being a skeptic. Shelley Silver is a Democrat. Why wouldn't he want the Democrats to take control of the state Senate?
Well, it's bad enough for the Speaker that he had to cede power of the party to the governor. But now if the Senate turns Democrat, it weakens his control over state government even that much more. It was just an odd timing of it to come out, a couple weeks before the election. It certainly puts a number of Senate Democrats in a bad position who are running as candidates because they're going to be running on Long Island and in Westchester and other key places in which they're trying to take control. And they're going to be asked, do you support the commuter tax?
Well, we only have about 50 seconds left. I turn to you, Errol. What's going on with the Bronx Democrats? Sounds like a mess. They have their meeting on Sunday.
That's right.
Is Mr. Rivera, Jose Rivera, is he in trouble?
Jose Rivera has reason to be concerned. They have organized this kind of cabal, this conspiracy. They've been pretty open about trying to throw him out. It's not strictly ethnic. They call themselves a rainbow coalition. They're black and white and Latino. They actually won a little noticed civil court race, which is the party is always supposed to win and control those low turnout races. They're all ginned up. They went to court to make sure they could meet. There's been some back and forth. Sunday's going to be the showdown.
Final word, gentlemen. What do you think about the Bronx Democrats?
I think that Jose might be out of a job, but I don't think Carl Hastie and the insurgents, it's going to be a very strong new Bronx party. I think it's going to be a lot of anarchy in the Bronx for a while.
This is the Iran-Iraq war all over again. But both sides are really weak. I mean, you got Stanley Schlein, who was the key advisor to Jose Rivera before he got thrown out. Now he's the key advisor to, I like this, Rainbow Cabal. I think that's what they're going to call from now on. It's the same. They're both the same, essentially.
I thank you guys for joining us in studio. Ken Lovett, we thank you for joining us from Albany. You folks have a lovely weekend as we all await tonight's debate, which is now a little over an hour away. But it is now time for a break, and the results of tonight's Snap poll are coming up. Don't go away.